He's a franchise legend. He's the greatest quarterback in history of the New York Football Giants.
How dare you?
How dare I speak that blasphemy on my own father? I don't give a damn about my dad's status. We're all comfortable with it here at the Simms household, so move on with that bull crap. You're going to try to pull that with me.
Yeah, you like that? Hey, I try to keep it real, okay?
As you did.
I mean, again, he's my dad, and, here I am trying to be Johnny host guy, and I'm not very good at that either, so I'm learning on the fly, all right? But either way, back, Chris Simms, Unbuttoned Podcast, my man, Paulie, Ben Meister, you the man.
And the old man, by the way, was 22 for 25 in a Super Bowl, so, come on.
We're good, right? Yeah. I got no problem with that.
Exclamation point there. Yeah.
Exactly right. It's not about that. One thing I hope anybody who listens to this podcast or watches this on YouTube, hey, please subscribe, youtube.com/NBC Sports. Get at me at CSimmsQB on Twitter or at Simms Unbuttoned on Instagram. Please do join the party. But no, I take pride in being a truthful person and not getting into bias and all that. And I get a lot of flack sometimes for my takes with Eli Manning because they think like, oh, you're just worried about your dad's legacy. Screw my dad's legacy. I don't care.
I don't think you're worried about that one bit.
No, we're just trying to talk ball. And if I'm wrong and Eli Manning has a great year this year or whoever I might have talked negatively back, you will hear me because I self-scout thyself a lot. You like how I like to die? It sounds more intelligent when I add die.
I didn't think I was going to hear that one.
No, yeah. So self-scout thyself is a very important thing to me.
Can we fit that on the mug?
In the podcast.
Somewhere?
I live by that.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the backside?
In life and football.
Pro day season, pal. Ohio State today.
Oh, baby. Dwayne Haskins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dwayne Haskins, lighten it up. 1992, I played a little against Ohio State. Who was the quarterback for the Buckeyes in 92?
Ooh, 1992.
Who was my counterpart?
Okay. Ooh, I think I know this. Is Kent Graham? Or is it Kirk Herbstreit?
There you go, Kirk Herbstreit, yeah.
They were both there at the same time.
Kent Graham was 91.
Okay, he was 91 because he was my backup for my father, so I wasn't sure what year it was. But Kirk Herbstreit.
Who was the first overall pick at nose tackle that was like right there across
Big Daddy Wilkinson?
You're 2 for 2.
I'm pretty good at this stuff. I've been paying attention to football for a while.
All right, that's exactly.
Were you nervous when you faced Big Daddy Wilkinson in that game?
It was like 34 and raining and windy, so I was most nervous about getting the snap and like holding on to the ball when it was coming out. So thankfully, because I didn't have to worry about all the talent on the other side.
Right. Well, yeah, it's always crazy when you play an awesome nose tackle. Why you just bring this up?
Right.
You get underneath the center and you go. I used to feel like this in practice with Warren Sapp. Is my center really going to be able to snap me the ball and block him at the same time? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Like I always would worry about that when you played great defensive tackles. But
thinking about Big Daddy.
Yeah.
My one Big Daddy story.
Right.
So I threw a pick. Tried to fit in a 7 route, the corner who had dropped. And there's that moment where you realize it's intercepted. You have the, oh, shit.
Oh, crap. Right.
And I made eye contact with Big Daddy. It was like 5 yards, and he knew he was coming to block me.
Of course he did.
And I knew he was coming to block me. And we took off on about a 50-yard run. Thankfully, it was toward where the corner was running with the ball, so I didn't really look like I was running scared. However, I was.
Sure, yeah. I think you were yelling like, necessary roughness. Blow the whistle, blow the whistle.
And he did catch me, so he was a little bit faster.
Yeah, no, those guys are freaks of nature. I mean, hey, listen, we're going to talk, and we got coming up on this podcast right here, Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle from Alabama, who I think could outrun both of us. At 303 pounds, he ran a 4.83, which is embarrassing because it's a little faster than me.
Yeah.
But yes, they are some freaky players at that position.
And you know what? He's been a guy. I've seen him interviewed here recently. Smile on his face, listens to the questions. So we always like to talk to any of the top prospects, but this is a guy who's presented himself really well, and it should be fun.
Really well. Looking forward to that. I mean, he's quite possibly going to be a top 5 pick. If not a top 5, he's definitely a top 10. But the Ohio State Pro Day, I'm interested in this a little more than I normally would be.
Dwayne Haskins, I believe, out to dinner with the Giants.
Right. I mean, okay, and we got Dwayne Haskins, who everybody was kind of mocking to the Giants early on.
Yeah.
And it sounded like we heard a lot of buzz about Giants liking him, Jaguars liking him. Okay, Jaguars got Nick Foles. They moved on. I would be shocked if they went quarterback with a guy that they just signed to a 4-year, $88 million contract in Foles. I feel like the buzz has slowed down for Dwayne Haskins a little bit.
So he might be there at 6 without having to trade up.
He might be there with 6. Maybe he's there with 17. That's what I don't know. Are the Giants going to go, let's roll the dice, maybe take a really top-end Quinnen Williams or something like that.
If he's still there.
And see if we can wait. This is the one thing, and I like Dwayne, and you know this, I liked him on film. He's got a lot of big bend to him as far as standing in the pocket, fearless, and can make big-time throws with people all around him. That's what I love. I will say the combine, it put on some red lights for me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, just a little bit. The combine, to me, is a litmus test in some ways, okay? First of all, how do you look in your workout stuff?
And how do you look?
He looked just okay to me. And if you're watching on YouTube, the biggest thing, I thought it was a little soft for his body. And I'm being nitpicky, but we're talking about a top 10 NFL pick, and this is what you have to do. Okay, you had all this time to work on drops and things like that. His drops were some of the worst, I thought, out of some of the quarterbacks at times. It was unrealistic. Now, there's no denying the arm talent, but this is the other thing that bothers me. It's a litmus test as far as like, hey, you're going to have to run the 40. He runs 140 and complains about cramps.
Yeah.
So that's not a good look. And I'm not saying that means anything, but I'm just saying right now, I wouldn't think teams have answers about that to go, wait, you had 6 weeks to train for 2 sprints and you cramped on one of them and don't feel as good. And, as crazy as that sounds, teams are going to be concerned about that.
I think it's fair to hold someone to that kind of scrutiny. As you mentioned, you're talking about drafting them
a big-time
in the
player.
top 10.
Right.
So these dinners that the prospects have with the head coaches, GM, scouts, always intrigue me, wondering like how they go. So if you were in the Giants group or any other group that took Dwayne Haskins out to dinner, you've got 3 hours with him. It's not like the 15 minutes at the combine where you really got to get something in quick.
Yeah.
You can work something in a casual kind of way that you really, really want to know about. What's one question, what's one topic you'd really want to get in with Dwayne Haskins?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to me is I would want to see, I'm going to ask about family, personal life, get to know the guy, right, all that. The next thing I'm going to go to is football, of course, and kind of just his football IQ. How much history does he know of football? How much has he been following it as of late? Does he live the game? Does he know, things that went on in college football? Because in the NFL, whatever it may be, can he call back to his, recollection of 5 years ago, what Peyton Manning looked at as a starter? To me, they're just little context clues to go, for a quarterback, I want my quarterback to be all in. Mm-hmm. He's got to be like, wake up, eat, breathe, bleed football. And at the quarterback position, it's even more essential to be like that. And I think you would know this, and I know this. The really great ones, they love the sport, right? They love it. It's not only wake up, how can I be better? Yeah. It's, I'm Aaron Rodgers, let me watch tape on Tom Brady. Oh, I'm Tom Brady, and I'm maybe the greatest of all time. Let me watch tape on Aaron Rodgers. Those are the characteristics that make the special ones special, and that's what I would kind of want to feel out. Does he live it? Does he love it? Has he really been eating, breathing, and just living football since he was a younger kid?
He should know, like you did, that it went Kent Graham to Kirk Herbstreit, and then to which quarterback that got drafted? Mid-90s.
Mid-90s. Oh, Brian Hoying, was he? What the hell's his first name?
Yeah.
Bobby Hoying, right.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
From quarterbacks, let's talk some receivers. And everybody that was with us last week, some of you have let us know what you think of Chris's wide receiver list.
Yeah.
Let's throw it up there, 1 through 5. We went from 5 through 1. So as you get reacquainted with that, I want to read some tweets that were sent to you, and there's an absence there.
Yep.
So 5 through 1, Brown, Samuel, Brown again from Oklahoma, Paris Campbell, Ohio State 2, DK Metcalf, Ole Miss number 1.
Right.
So 2 guys from Ole Miss, DK Metcalf 1 and A.J. Brown at 5. N'Keal Harry is not there.
Yeah.
Many people are not happy about this. I want to share some of the feedback. It starts from, I think you're missing at N'Keal Harry 15. Brah, there's a space between BRUH. That's from Bauer at Mike Jack Bauer. Arden Key is better anyways, says F+. N'Keal Harry better than all those dudes. I think N'Keal Harry 15 will be the best wide receiver once it's all said and done. That's from BP 2018.
Hey, I always appreciate the interaction, and those are good questions. Listen, he was a guy that was right here in the mix with it. It was a tough decision to make.
And he's not in the top 5 because
He's not in
what?
the top 5 really because I think the biggest thing that bothers me is I think he is he has a problem creating space and getting open. That's where it really bothers me. When I watch games where there was some better corner play, his ability to threaten people upfield with his speed is concerning to me. It was concerning in some games in college, let alone when he has to go against top-tier cornerbacks in the NFL, okay? He's not going to back a lot of people off. So to me, with grading receivers, one of the big aspects I look at is I don't want to see how the system got you open with a pick play over the middle, and then, oh, wow, we go, oh, look at that, a 15-yard catch over the middle. Great. There's a lot of people that can do that when the system designs it for you.
Were there times he was supposed to create that space himself and just failed to do it?
I think so. Yes, I think at the end of the day, that's what bothered me. Now, he's a great back shoulder 50-50 guy.
It's important.
Okay, which is very important, and he'll have value there. But I think when he plays against top-tier corners in the NFL, it's going to be harder because they're not going to respect his down-the-field speed. There's college corners I could go back and show you film and go, they don't respect his down-the-field speed. They're almost sitting on the back shoulder or jump ball type of ball, where, of course, he's going to see corners that are better playing the ball, better physically, longer, stronger, all of those things. So I guess at the end of the day, his inability to separate consistently is what concerned me, and I really think I value him more as a slot receiver.
Which isn't bad.
Which is not bad. He could be Marquise Colston. You remember Marquise Colston for the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Same type of guy to me. You know, yeah, you put him outside from time to time, and you can throw him some back shoulders. He might be able to win on slants, things like that. But really, at the end of the day, his size, and you want the system to help him out over the middle a little bit. He can stick his foot in the ground and run pretty good routes.
Are you still evaluating him, or are you done?
I'm not done.
So
I'm going to go back. He could be cracking the top 5,
okay.
Yeah. But he was right on the fringe. I really kind of went back between him and A.J. Brown as far as that 5th receiver.
We'll see if he shows up at some point here. Then at the top, DK Metcalf. Of course, anytime you label somebody number 1, any position.
Yes.
Some out there aren't going to like it.
I get
some
it.
of the responses here, Bryce B. at George Licker says, laugh out loud. To be considered a top wide receiver, you'd think you'd have to be able to run great routes. Kyle John says, all this hype over a dude that had subpar stats in college. I don't get it. Yeah, the 4 things he did at the Combine were exceptional, but what is he going to do on the field? There's more proven talent in this wide receiver class that deserves to be higher than him.
Right. So the first round and top 20, top 32 picks, it's about eliteness. Nobody's getting a guy because they go, oh, look, he's such a well-rounded player. You're trying to hit home runs, okay? And DK Metcalf has a chance to be a home run hitter. Now, again, production I take into account, but damn, you got to also take into account that Ole Miss offense stinks. The quarterback wasn't very good.
Quarterback or the system?
I mean, it was both. Neither one was very good. I literally at points during the game would be like, what is Ole Miss trying to do? They have 3 NFL receivers here. And
2 in your top 5.
I know. And the other kid that they have is going to go in the NFL too. And I would just go, are they trying not to win this game? Are they trying not to get their best players the football? So there's a lot of plays where you can look at DK Metcalf while he's wide open and the quarterback misses him or doesn't look to his side. So that's not his fault. He's doing his job. And to say, the route running, totally justifiable. He is a raw route runner. You know who else was? Calvin Johnson. When there's just some things in life, when you're that big and that fast, you know what the route running that jumped off to me? The first play of the Alabama game when he ran by everybody on Alabama for a 70-yard touchdown. That kind of jumped out to me, okay? Or the second play, I believe, of the Texas Tech game where he ran by everybody for a 70-yard touchdown. Those are the things. You can teach guys to run routes. You can teach them other things too, little nuances to improve their craft. What you can't teach them to do is get bigger and be faster and be a freaky guy. So he's got that. I'll go back to an old thing I always say, it's easier, I want the guy that hits home runs, and then I'll try to teach him to hit singles and things like that. I don't want it the other way around. Oh, this guy hits great singles, and then you think you're going to teach him to have power to hit home runs. No, that doesn't exist. So that would be my kind of example there.
So much defensive talent, especially in the front 7 in this draft in the top 10.
Right.
Let's say a couple quarterbacks also go in the top 10.
Yeah.
Is there room, should there be room for Metcalf in the top 10?
Yeah, I think the big thing, the injury concerns, will be something that goes to him. I think his talent warrants him as a first-round talent. Now, the big thing, too, will also be, what is he like in meetings? How does he process information?
Have you heard anything at all?
Yeah, I've heard that he's raw altogether in every aspect, route running, on the board, anything like that. So, we'll see where that goes. But the first thing I think about, like the team number 9, the Buffalo Bills, I go, whoa, okay, that's a team that could use a difference-making type of receiver. He certainly could be in that conversation, but to me, hey, this is a big-time talent. Whether he goes in the top 10, maybe it's the top 20 when all said and done. I think he's certainly worthy of that type of draft pick.
Any chance he drops below 1, or is he going to be your guy for the next few weeks?
I don't know. I think this is one where I'm not going to overthink it. And, you know, to the people who ask questions about the route running, yeah, no, he wins with his ability to scare you with speed, and he's going to win with his power. And we talked about it a little last week. We showed some of the variables for some of the big receivers. Like, you know, some of these bigger receivers, they're not made to run crisp Antonio Brown type of routes. It's a different beast, a different animal altogether as far as a DK Metcalf and maybe an Odell Beckham Jr. This is a Julio Jones. This is a Calvin Johnson like we've talked about. This is a Brandon Marshall type of football player. So I didn't expect the 20-yard shuttle and 3-cone drill to be totally phenomenal. You just can't have it all, always.
Right.
Yep.
We're going to do the same thing with running backs coming up here a little bit later in the show. We'll go 5 through 1. Chris will give his reasons why he likes each one that much to give him that kind of grade, and that's coming up in a little bit, coming after Quinnen Williams from Alabama, and also after your pop.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Big Phil too, so we got him coming on, and we got no idea what Big Phil's going to talk about. I mean, he kind of runs
I figured that out 2 weeks in.
Yeah, stop trying to prepare for that interview. It's worthless. But, yeah, I'm excited about it. Big Phil, and really more excited about Quinnen Williams. To hell with my dad. Quinnen Williams is special, and I'm interested to get to know him. All right, well, as we promised, we have a special guest, Quinnen Williams, who is arguably going to be a top 5 pick. I would say he's certainly a top 5 pick. There's no denying that this kid will be a top 10 pick. When you get talked about as having physical attributes like Aaron Donald, you seem to slip into the top of the draft, okay? That's what kind of special player he is. So Quinnen Williams, here he is. Thanks for coming on Chris Simms Unbuttoned podcast. It's me, Chris Simms, and my good buddy old pal, Paul Burmeister. Thanks for showing up, man.
Thank you for having me.
Man, your Alabama pedigree is already showing. You called us. We thought we were calling you. You were so ready. But we're going to have fun here, okay, Quinnen? This is the first way I want to start out. I'm going to go to a clip. I would like you to finish this sentence, okay? And then we're going to ask you a few questions about it. So let's roll this clip. Let Quinnen hear it, and I want him to finish the end of the sentence, please.
Have you gone up against any quarterback that slightly resembles Kyler Murray?
No, I don't feel like I have going against a quarterback slightly resembling Kyler Murray, but I feel like Kyler Murray is not where everybody. No, I'm good.
That's good every time.
Okay, go ahead, finish the sentence, please. This is a startup podcast. I could use the traffic here. So what were you going to say?
Man, I was going to say just an opinion that I was looking at on film and things like that on film, but I know how opinions can be, and the media can take opinions and stuff like that. So I try to stay away from opinion-based things like that. So the media won't flip into a negative when it really was a positive situation, a positive remark.
That was a very good job by you, a veteran move. So what I want to know is, what was in your brain as you were about to give an opinion about Kyler Murray? Is it Nick Saban in a team meeting that goes into your brain that stopped you just right away there?
No, it was just knowing that I was so passionate about that game and so ready to play that game that I was going to say how I really feel and how I really was going to come off. But I know that the media can take opinions and things like that to a whole new level, especially when it's a positive. So I would never dog a player or anything like that. I would always give props and speak on facts. So.
All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, and I really like that you did this. Tell me about your thinking of not working out in the Alabama Pro Day. I know you killed it at the Combine. What made you finally decide that you were not going to partake in the Pro Day?
I had a procedure that I had happen to my finger. I had a procedure that held me out from bench press at the Combine. So I got the procedure did after the Combine, and I really felt like I didn't want to get in my stance and put any pressure on that finger at the time. So I had made a decision not to participate due to my finger injury. But was opened up to having meetings and board work and just knowledge like anything else, etc. on football-wise and anything they want to know about me and be about me. but I didn't want to put any pressure on my finger and to re-injure it and really get ready for rookie minicamp and after draft. So that went all into it, going into not participating. I just felt like I did a great job at Combine. I feel like I showed the scouts and showed the world that my film match up with the real person I am, my attributes that I have, my speed, my strength, my quickness, my lateral movement, everything that you see on film, it added up with it. So I feel like I checked all the boxes at Combine and did everything I'm supposed to do to make sure my film go as the person I am and the work ethic that I have.
Hey, Quinnen, you mentioned all the interaction and the meetings you were able to have yesterday with the teams that came through for the Pro Day. We get to watch the Pro Day. We get to watch the Combine. We watch you play on Saturdays. We don't get to see that interaction that you have with the assistant coaches, the head coaches, the GMs. Which one was your favorite? Was there one interaction that you really enjoyed that you can tell us about?
All the coaches was great, man. Just being that scenery, just be in that same atmosphere with those guys like Belichick and John Lynch and the different guys that were there. It was just amazing because 7 months ago I wasn't even starting. Like 7 months ago I wasn't even on the field or even thought about even playing. So just it's a blessing to even come from that to be in the spot that I was. But not really a scenario stand out on the guy, but beating Belichick was very cool because like I've coached up on the Saban. Everybody say Saban the GOAT, but Belichick is like the NFL GOAT. So getting to meet him was amazing.
What did he say to you?
We haven't really talked about. I just introduced myself to him and was like, nice to meet you. And I had to go support my guys and doing the things that they wanted to do. They doing the things that they was performing in and things like that.
All right, so I want to go back to something you said because you were one of the stars at the Combine. I know you had the procedure on your finger, but if you did not have your procedure on your finger, do you still think you would have worked out at the Alabama Pro Day, or do you think you would have just rested on what you did at the Combine? Because I'm with you, man. There's no point in doing these Pro Day workouts when you have a Combine like you did and your film speaks for itself. Why risk it? Was that part of the thought process, even if you didn't have the finger procedure?
No, it was a procedure I had to have so I could be ready to go full 100% for minicamp. So I feel like I had to have this procedure to get it fixed and things like that. So with OTAs, I won't have no problem. I can go in there and be the best player on the field, off the field I can be for any team who draft me. So I really haven't thought about if I didn't have the procedure because I knew
you had to have it.
When the season ended, I knew I was going to have to have it. But I was going to get it before the Combine, but I really wanted to perform in the Combine. So I was like, I'm going to just wait it out. Then as it come out, I was like, yeah, I need to go and get this handle so I can be able to perform at 100% level at OTAs and rookie minicamp and things like that.
I know, just as you said, you'd like to work out, you're aiming to be back for OTAs or rookie minicamp, but all these teams that are thinking about you in the top 5 or even higher would probably like to come back and work you out as well. Are you going to be able to do any kind of workouts in the next 4 weeks?
I'm not doing 2-minute workouts in the next 4 weeks.
All right, so here's what's that? Go ahead.
I said for teams, but I will be like working out on my own and training stuff for OTAs and minicamp.
Yeah, we know you're going to be ready. Okay, so this is the thing I always like to ask players coming out in the draft. All right, here you are. You're about to live your dream. When you think about the NFL, who is the guy you're most excited to face off against? Any quarterbacks, offensive linemen? Who's the first guy that jumps to your head?
My favorite football player is Jason Kelsey, so going against him is going to be, like, crazy. Like, I looked up to him. I watched everything he do. I got him on my ultimate team. Like, I play with the Eagles just so I can get him. So I think Jason Kelsey would be, like, the best one.
Wait.
I would go, like, the
Your favorite player is an offensive lineman, a center? I don't even know if I've ever heard that.
Yeah, he's a real deal, man. Like, I go against a lot of centers, and I look at Jason Kelsey and watch Jason Kelsey film and just study him and learn his technique, learn the things that he's doing that I can defeat another center who's not doing it. So he turned into one of my favorite offensive linemen. Not favorite, but favorite players. And you got Aaron Donald, you got Jeremy Ford, things like that I get defensive line stuff from, but I feel like that's still like one of my favorite football players.
All right, and what about the quarterback position? I mean, you got to be excited about hitting somebody. I played quarterback. I don't expect you to know who the hell I am, but what's the quarterback you want to hit the most?
I think everybody want to get a sack on Tom Brady, but I just want to get one sack. Like, I just want to get a sack. I just want to start off my first sack. Like, so it's not really a person I want to sack. but I just want sex. I just want to go get the quarterback, whoever it is. But I think Tom Brady will be one. The quarterback from the Chiefs,
Mahomes. Yep.
I think he'll be one. Russell Wilson. Every D lineman in the NFL I hear, like they say Russell Wilson like the hardest dude ever to catch.
Yeah.
So I think Russell Wilson will be another one. So
could you catch him outside the pocket?
Oh, for sure. Well, Russell Wilson, I don't know what Russell Wilson's 40 was.
It wasn't as fast as Kyler Murray, and that's where I wanted to go with this. Like, so you talk about Russell Wilson. What was it like when you were out in the field facing a guy that's very similar, being compared to Russell Wilson and a Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray got real speed. That's what I can say. Like, he's fast, man. He's elusive, he's quick. Like they say, like he like Michael Vick. He can do it all, throw the ball, run the ball, but he got a lot of stuff that I can see that he couldn't do, like steal over the pocket in the middle. So if I disrupt the middle, he was going to rush to either right or left all the time. So different things that I can set him up with like that and have in my arsenal to defeat him.
It's incredible, the Alabama connection to the NFL, Quinnen, especially defensively. 15 of your former teammates the last 2 years, 15 have been drafted in the last 2 drafts. What's the best piece of advice for the next level one of those guys has given you?
Man, I talked to C.J. Moses at the pro day. He was at the pro day. I talked to C.J. Moses about everything, man. He was just like, don't live in the moment. Just prepare for the future and stuff like that. And that was like one of the big time advice. I got a lot of advice from a lot of guys. I trained with Leonard Williams and I trained with Deshaun Hand, and I played with a lot of guys, man. Like, I got a lot of advice from different guys on our team, different guys on our past team, and veterans in the NFL like Marcel Darius and Andre Smith, like different guys that's already in the NFL, and Cam Robinson on just how the whole process is going to go after draft, fall, mini camp, and just different things like that. Yeah. So I got a lot of resources coming from Alabama on that real insight of the NFL, so I can just pick up the phone and call. So it's been very helpful. Just this process, just basically got a blueprint of what you finna face and what you finna overcome, like just moving forward.
No doubt. I mean, Alabama prepares you for the NFL better than any program. But you know what? That's another aspect I want to ask you about. You know, was there a point when you first got to Alabama where you said, damn, I might have made the wrong decision here. When the hell am I going to get on the field? I mean, you just talked about it. 7 months ago, you weren't even a starter on the defense yet, really. Did you ever second guess yourself if you had made the wrong decision and going to Alabama with all this talent on the D-line?
No, I definitely didn't feel like that. Didn't think I made the wrong decision because I was behind guys who was leading me in the right way to success. I was behind guys who showed me the way to be a pro on the field and off the field, and just made me to the person I am today with this leadership and the leader that I am today, and the different qualities of like discipline, the process that they broke it down to me and things like that. So I really feel no type of way about being on the sideline. But as the season went on, I think my sophomore year, I knew in my mind the next year came, I wanted to play.
Right.
Like, it was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to play. I was going to play, and I needed to play. Just out the competitive person I am, and I feel like I was very ready to play and very prepared to play. So, and I got the opportunity to play. After Deron Payne left, I got the opportunity Coach Saban blessed me with just to move in the inside and do things like that. So,
yeah. You just mentioned the name Coach Saban. I want to get back to the insight, all the people who prepared you for the NFL. And for the last couple of years, Nick Saban's been the head coach, probably maintained a little bit of distance from the individual players like a lot of coaches do. But he's no longer your head coach. He's just a guy who can help you get ready for the NFL. I'm wondering if he's pulled you aside anytime the last couple months and really told you about what to expect coming up here.
Not for real. He really hasn't pulled me to the side and said, but he coached us up while we was there very well and taught us a lot of things while we was there, and we already prepared. I feel like we need advice. He opened arms up to pick up the phone anytime we can call him and need advice. But most guys that leave and go to the NFL early or just leave and go to the NFL in general are very prepared and very mature to face on all the challenges, and we well equipped with all the things and tools that we need to do to go and be a great player first day on the team, on the campus.
All right, so let's get to some little fun here, okay? Because you're about to have a lot of zeros in your bank account behind a big number, all right? So
that's what they say.
No, that's what they say, and that's the truth. Yeah, you're about to, okay? And I'm excited for you. What is on the Quinnen Williams wish list? Like, what's the first thing you were gonna buy with your big check? You know, I went out and got a watch. What's your dream go-to thing?
My dream, probably whatever my grandma wants. My grandma sacrificed me a lot of stuff, so I'm a first thing. Like when I get a check, like my check, I'm gonna buy my grandma whatever she wants or needs at the time. Like anything. So I think that'll be the first thing I'm gonna buy.
Damn, you're killing this interview, man. I think you just went up like 3 draft spots just with all these professional answers you're giving. Okay, wait, okay, now grandma's out of the way. Now let's go back to you. What is the first thing you want to buy for yourself?
Me myself. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, I really feel like I got everything I want. Like, I'm really not a person who spend money on jewelry. I don't wear jewelry. I've got an Apple Watch. That's about it. So I really don't want anything else like that. So I'll probably just wait until something else like to get for me myself. But I know my grandma, like, I know she's gonna want something. So.
Hey, as long as we're talking about what you want, Quinnen, in the top 6, there are 2 teams picking in California. There are 2 teams in New York. Would you be a better West Coast or East Coast guy if you had your pick?
It don't matter, man. I'm from the West Coast. I mean, I'm from the East Coast, but I train in L.A. and the West Coast, so it don't matter. Like, I love the weather out there in the West Coast, but I love the cold and the snow in the East Coast.
Loves the cold and the snow. Come on out then.
Yeah.
We got plenty.
Yeah, well, there's some teams out here that definitely would like to have you. Okay, all right, so you've gone through this whole process. Everybody's kissing your butt, telling you how awesome you are. What is, like, the biggest negative somebody's told you about your game to this point, or something that you really feel like you need to work on?
I really need to work on a lot. I hear the positive stuff, not the positive stuff, but I hear the good stuff, like kissing my butt and stuff. But playing for Alabama, man, they go one after the other. Because you always got to work on the things that you got, you know what I'm saying, the bad things and the negative things that you have. Because you can go out there and beat somebody 56-0, but if you was worried about you beat somebody 56-0, and don't try to go get the thing that you did wrong correct, the next week you can lose. So, but I got a lot of things to work on, like conditioning-wise, effort, different things, like hoping my hips up, planting my foot in the ground, or tracking to the ball and things like that. So I've been working on a lot of stuff in my game that I've been getting back from NFL scouts and NFL coaches and things like that I need to work on during this offseason. So when I get the OTAs, everything be like a smooth train. So.
I've been wondering this since we've been talking to you. You are clearly en route from one place to another. Where are you, and where are you going right now?
I just left Tuscaloosa going to see my grandma. It's her birthday today, so I'm going to go pop up on her for her birthday.
Oh.
She might just tell you exactly what she wants for her birthday and for your draft day.
She might. She probably not.
That would work out well.
Write it down somewhere.
Well, what'd you get her? Did you get her something for her birthday? Like, come on, tell us.
Nah, I'm not a surprise gift giver. Like, I'm a horrible surprise gift giver. Like, I'm a person who will get you a gift and you gonna hate it. Like, you gonna dislike it. So I'm one of the people who would take you, like, to go get their gift.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's a smarter way, too. Women can be too hard to please sometimes with gift giving, so just let them go pick it out. I learned that from my wife very easily. All right, last thing I want to ask you before we get out of here, and we'll let you go. I just want to know, I always love to ask players this, and I asked you something similar already. College football, who was the best player you played against? Who was the guy that jumped out to you where you just got off the field and you said, whoa, that guy was special? Can be any position.
Any position?
Any position. Anybody that you were out there on the field with and you just said, whoa, that guy was on a different level. Whether it was Sony Michel last year or McCole Hardman from Georgia, DK Metcalf, if you got to see him at Ole Miss. Anybody, who was the guy that really caught your eye in your years at Alabama?
My years at Alabama, it would be on my team or off my team?
No, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Whoever was the freakiest guy you came across. I know. And don't worry. You can think about it.
Let me think. Freakiest guy I probably came across would probably be Well, when I watched the combine, DJ Metcalf went crazy. Like, he like an alien. So that was crazy to see. But he didn't play against us.
Right.
He didn't play in the game against us. So let me see.
Yep, that's all right. Don't worry. The pressure's on you. It's okay. It's the fourth quarter. Brady's got the ball. Guy, you gotta make a decision here.
I think it would probably be Deron Payne.
Okay. Deron Payne.
No, not Deron Payne. Let me see.
All right.
If I had to get somebody on my team, the freakiest athlete I ever seen, probably Josh Jacobs.
Oh, okay. So you two Alabama guys there.
Good teammate there.
Yeah, I think Josh Jacobs is the freakiest dude I ever came across. Like, in general.
I've been watching film of it. It's pretty impressive. It's a lot like you. It's freaky, and that's why you're being talked about as a top 10 pick. I appreciate you coming on, man, with me and Paul. You the man. We're rooting for you. I can see why you're killing it because you answered all these questions way too smoothly for a defensive tackle, okay? How dare you? All right, man. Good luck with everything, all right?
All right.
See ya.
Thanks, Quinnen.
All right, thank you.
Damn. I mean, I hope we're keeping rolling here, but just to react to that. Those were top-notch answers.
Yeah, he did very well.
I mean, he answered everything.
He really walked the line between, being, I guess, in the athletic way, politically correct, speaking well of your teammates, your university, not saying too much, but he was enjoying himself.
No.
He was authentic and
very
fun.
authentic,
yeah,
right?
Great.
Well, didn't I got stuff to work on, nothing, I mean, all those things, that goes a long way with like the corny NFL interviews.
Right.
Talking about the first thing you're going to buy and all you can talk about is grandma.
Pretty
That's
nice.
another thing.
And he's driving up to see grandma for her birthday.
I'm not a jewelry guy, and I know as crazy as that sounds and as arbitrary as it is, those are still things coaches and GMs are going to be happy to hear because they're going to go, okay, wait, when we throw this guy a lot of money, it's not going to change him as a person, and he's become this crazy different guy that we weren't expecting.
Right.
And that's a part of piecing the puzzle together. I know for me, it's the hardest thing in the draft process is I don't get to meet these guys or know sometimes.
Right.
So you watch a guy on film and you go, man, he's amazing. But
wouldn't it influence you one way or another if you really liked him like we just did with Quinnen, or you didn't like him? Maybe you wouldn't want to get to know him because it would change your rankings just strictly based off the X and O's.
Yes, well, when it comes to that, the X's and O's, you try to make it all about the X's and O's, but also you try to see what the player is as you're watching the film. You can tell sometimes when a guy might be dirty, a little lazy, a little blaming other people, maybe gets tired or gassed easily. I don't see any of that from him, first of all. But, yeah, those are the only context clues you can get from film where, oh, okay, now I like a guy on film and I've talked to 3 of my coach friends and they go, oh, Chris, he's just an absolute disaster in the meetings or off the field. Then I go, oh, damn, okay, let me reevaluate this a little bit to the best of my knowledge. But it's the hardest thing I have to do as far as draft evaluation is concerned.
That's part of the reason you hear about a team like the Giants taking him out to dinner. They get away from the limits of the combine, meet with him for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
They can get him for a whole evening and see if everybody likes him just as a guy.
Right. See if everybody likes him. See if he orders us 2 drinks, a drink.
Or 0,
start to go,
right?
0 drinks, whatever it is. Yeah, it's all part of the process where teams are kind of doing their, Inspector Gadget, private eye work on football players.
Well, as long as we're thinking Alabama, it's a nice segue into your running back rankings. We're going to go 1 through 5, just like we did last week with the wide receivers.
Right.
Potentially, there could be an Alabama guy in here, maybe somewhere 5 or closer to 1.
Yes.
Before we get to the rankings, I'm wondering where you come down the running backs just in the draft in general, because there's really 2 sides of it. There's the get the best guy available, take him as high as you have to, and there's good examples, players going to the top 10 and performing very well. Top 3 rushers last year.
Yes.
We're all taken to the top 10. But there are so many taken rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 who are somewhere between serviceable and really good running backs in the NFL for a few years. So are you a guy, take one early high, or let's wait, let's get one late and see if we can get something out of it?
Well, okay, that's a great question. You're right. There's a lot to unpack here. I mean, first of all, you have to go into what your own team needs are, right? Are you desperate for a difference maker at the running back position? If you're desperate, then maybe you need to think about a top 10 pick at the running back position. If you go, oh, no, we have a pretty good starter, but we'd like to add to the group, then you start thinking middle rounds. Now, every now and then, I think the guys we saw go in the top 10 the last 3 years in a row, Zeke, Fournette, and, of course, Saquon Barkley, I think all justified going, no, this is a different breed of running back. This is a little bit more of a wow, eye pop factor as compared to the rest of the group, to where you go, no, this is special. This is like, these guys don't come around very often. So I understand taking a chance with those type of guys. I think they're difference makers. I mean, Saquon Barkley, as we saw last year, we talk about how shitty the offensive lineman is for the New York Giants.
Right.
And there he was, averaging 5 yards per carry behind that shitty O-line.
Right.
So I think that tells you what's kind of a special player he is. I think as a whole, generally, you can get away, or there's plenty of people down the line in drafts most year. Hey, Kareem Hunt, 4th-round pick, led the league in rushing his rookie year. Arian Foster, undrafted out of Tennessee, led the
Alvin
league
Kamara,
twice.
David Johnson.
Exactly,
the list goes
right.
on and on.
It does. It goes on and on, certainly. And you find some freaky ones down there. I mean, David Johnson, I think if everybody had a redraft, they'd go, oh, we should have took him in the top 20. He's that type of talent. But so I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, I guess. I'm not trying to skirt the question here.
Well, there are examples of both theories working here
yes,
recently, yeah.
There definitely is, yes. I mean, Alvin Kamara was a 3rd-round pick, I believe, off the top of my head, maybe 4th. But either way, yeah, it's kind of undeniable.
Let's put it in a more specific way.
Yeah, okay.
Let's say you're a GM this year, and we are going to get a running back. We're going to get a quality running back and play him a lot this year.
Right.
You're picking in the 20s. Oh, the number 1 running back is still on the board.
Ooh.
Would you go there at that point, or would you say, you know what, let's go elsewhere, because I know there's quality in rounds 3 through 6?
There is quality in this draft. And I think, again, a lot will that depend on your running back big board, too. Where is the top guy? What's the biggest difference between him and the guy we have ranked 2, 3, 4, and 5? If there's this huge margin where you go, okay, this guy is a top 20, we had him as a top 20 pick, and now we're here at pick 25, and the next guy we evaluate on our big board of running backs is 50 or below,
right,
then I think you go, okay, I think we got to take the chance and go with the running back here. Now, if the difference between your top guy on the board and the second guy on the board is just really a matter of picks or just one little nuance in your grading factor, then I think you go, okay, we have a few guys down here on our list that, are not as good as the number 1 guy, but the difference is not far off to where we don't feel bad if picking a guy at 65 instead of at 25 or whatever it may be. So I think that balances it out too. I think that's what's interesting about this draft, and we'll get into it, but this is a good group of running backs. I mean, you get to the top 10, top 12 guys of the running back position, all impressive. All are guys that I look at and go, they can contribute to their team year 1 right away and will have a role. So, yeah, where does the big guys go? How does this all play out? I think is going to be one of the cool things about the draft.
After we get the list, I want to come back and revisit that with some names attached to it with that scenario.
Sure.
Hey, number 1's there in the 20s. We're going to do it then, or we're going to wait to get a running back later?
Cool.
Okay, let's go 5 through 1.
Yep.
Starting out with number 5, who do you like?
Yeah, no, I like Quadri Olison, okay? And I'm probably messing up his name. Quadri Olison, I should say. But this is a different type of running back. You don't see these kind of running backs every day.
Different how?
Different how? Because he's a big man. You got to think of almost a Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell type of build out of this player. And he has a similar playing style to those 2 guys as well.
And from an old school offense at Pittsburgh as well.
Old school offense that runs the ball downhill, guards pull. They depended on him not only for, a lot of rushing attempts, but to make big plays. I was extremely impressed with him. I mean, this is the biggest thing with him. For a guy that's 230 pounds and right around 6'2", feet are phenomenal. I mean, we're talking like phenomenal quick feet. I think about guys like Steven Davis back in the day for the Carolina Panthers who came out of Auburn, but really like a dancing bear, a guy that you go, how quick and fast can this guy be? And then you see him make a linebacker miss at the second level, catches the ball smoothly. Paul, we followed him in Notre Dame. I mean, if you watch film leading up to that and what he did, can break big runs.
He was their offense.
He was their offense. He was their go-to guy. I thought he was extremely impressive. It's rare to have a big back like this, maybe in the top 5 always, but I think his movement skills, change of direction, ability to break tackles, all of that completely justify him as a top 5 running back.
Is he for everybody, or is he for a specific specific team who wants a big between the tackles back?
Yeah, I do think he is for everybody. Now, you have to depend, that again, we'll go back to the roster and who you got at the running back position. You know, are you a team that values big running backs and you go, okay, we got a lot of these scat backs, third down backs, we need a bigger back? Then, yeah, you can bring him in there and make him your #1 guy. Or you could do like New England Patriots style, where they've done and gone, all right, we got Deion Lewis, but here it's the fourth quarter and we got a lead here and we want to start pounding a team away between the tackles. He could be that guy that comes, you know, as the second part of the running back duo off the bench, who can not only make plays, but I think wear teams out and play ball control type football.
Okay, I like your 5.
Yep.
Who do you like it for?
Miles Sanders, Penn State. Okay, this is one of the pleasant surprises of the draft to me right here. I mean, a guy that I wasn't expecting a lot out of. I guess.
Why?
I guess because
he's not Saquon?
He's not Saquon, yeah. Exactly right. I know, and you know, I didn't get to see a lot of Penn State football through the year, but I think what I saw from Miles Sanders, the first thing I thought of, and a guy you talked about off air, Chris Carson, right, from the Seattle Seahawks. I see a lot of this type of guy, a guy that's just absolutely reckless and fearless with his body as far as contact goes, but maybe not as powerful as Chris Carson, but better quicks, better long speed than a Chris Carson. So a little more explosive in the open field, I want to say, but really has a unique ability. And when I say this, I say he can be a zone runner, right? And then I almost want to stand up just to explain. He can be a zone runner who kind of, okay, I'm going to take the ball and just kind of be patient, Le'Veon Bell style, and wait for my hole, and then just bam, stick my foot in the ground and hit that hole when I see it. Or he could be, okay, it's a pulling guard. There's going to be no nonsense. I'm going to take the ball downhill and just go 1,000,000 miles per hour towards the line of scrimmage and see where it goes from there. And I like the fact that he's a little bit versatile in either scheme. He can catch the ball well. He doesn't get a ton of catches, but it looks very natural to me. Yeah, he was an impressive, not a game breaker type of player, but a guy that can get 40-yard runs from time to time, but certainly get a whole lot of 6, 7, 8-yard type of runs. I thought he was pretty damn good.
Do you think what you just mentioned, that just that basic human emotion reaction after Saquon Barkley comes out, you're like, oh, I guess I'll watch the Penn State kid. There's no way he's as good as Saquon Barkley. Do you think that element of surprise that you felt is working in his advantage, or could work in his advantage throughout the league?
I do. I think a lot of people are going to turn it on and go, well, I mean, I watched Saquon last year. I mean, this kid didn't really get in a whole lot. He can't be that special. And, I didn't hear a lot of buzz about him during the year. So, yeah, this is one of those things where I think people will turn on the film and go, oh, okay, whoa, I wasn't quite expecting this. Hey, when you're taking, 60, 70-yard touchdown runs against some of the competition he played in the Big Ten, that opens my eyes up anytime, because the Big Ten right now is a very good football conference. There's a lot of pros that are trying to chase him down, and he's outrunning them.
All right, we have 5 Ollison, 4 Sanders, working our way up to 3. Who's that guy?
Yeah, number 3, this is DARRELL Henderson from Memphis.
I've heard very good things.
Yeah, and whoever was telling you is telling you right. Ooh, man, this guy's lightning in a bottle, okay? This is probably the guy, maybe the most dangerous guy in space in the NFL draft. When I think about a guy like him, the first guy that kind of comes to my mind, you saw Denver Broncos this year, right? Phillip Lindsay. I would go, this is the kind of player he is, except maybe a little bit more power and better quickness in space. Maybe not quite the burner straight away that a Phillip Lindsay is, but Henderson is... a weapon this day and age in the NFL.
Catches the ball.
Catches the ball.
Block.
Can really run routes. A true football player, yes, can block, can do everything that you want as far as out of a running back. And I think he's the type of guy, too, Paul, that can be, okay, he can be our bell cow a little bit. He's very good at avoiding car crash hits for a smaller guy, because he is 5'8". He's right around a little over 200 pounds. So forget about what he can do there. But the thing that also impressed me, again, he could run jet sweeps. You could line him up at slot receiver. The things I saw when they got in empty formations and had him run routes. He could be a special route runner as well, let alone a game breaker, screen game, things like that. In space, it's off the charts.
Okay, so
it's phenomenal.
After listening to all this praise, this is the point of your list, and I always come to this where I say, why isn't he ranked higher?
Yeah, I mean, again, because the two guys that are in front of him are pretty impressive.
Is there anything about Darrell where you're hedging your bets, whether it's his size or something you've seen?
The size would be probably the one thing that concerns me.
You said 5'8"?
Yes, 5'8". At first I thought, ooh, okay, you know, is this guy, can he be a bell cow type running back? Will he be explosive in week 12?
You say yes?
I do think yes. And then I also questioned, like, okay, you know, the competition he's playing here. You know, I'm not sure. But then he gets on the field with teams like UCF, who I know, University of Central Florida, who have professional defensive backs, and I see him running for 50 and 60-yard touchdowns and making people miss and highlight real runs. Then I go, okay, no, this is legit, this kid. He plays faster than his 4.48 combine speed. And, yeah, no, he's a good player.
You think he'll be around after round 2?
I think he is going to be a debatable late second round pick, right around that range. I think he is definitely worthy of that type of you know, what do I want to say, pick or play or whatever the hell I'm trying to say.
Sounds like he could be value in the second or third round, or who knows, maybe even higher. All right, second rated running back is?
My second rated running back is Rockwell Armstead. I almost messed up the name. This is, to me, I wasn't expecting this. This is probably the most pleasant surprise that I got out of all the guys. 5'11", 220 pounds, okay? If I painted the picture for what he is, he's got a running style that's very similar to Rashad Penny, who was drafted in the first round by the Seattle Seahawks last year. Almost a Leonard Fournette type of running style.
Is he that big?
Well, yeah, he's 220 pounds, not quite as big as Fournette, who was about 232, 230 when all said and done. And I'm not trying to say he's quite as talented as Leonard Fournette. He was special.
Physically looks the part.
But he physically looks the part, has a similar style in which he runs, has a little bit of the pitter-patter feet that I like. For a bigger running back, first of all, his acceleration to the hole is top-notch. I mean, when he hits the hole, he is going full speed, and good luck trying to tackle him. But yes, his ability to, he's not a jump cut guy, but his ability to just use really extremely quick feet and dance around would-be tacklers or make them miss just enough to where an arm gets on you and then he runs through that arm tackle. He's pretty special in open field. And again, I look at ACC football and so, you know, or not he's AAC, I believe, football. Yeah. But some of the competition he played, you know, again, I look at games like Boston College and other things like that where I go, no, this is one of the most impressive physical specimens on the field. Can run with power, can make you miss, and can take the ball to the house on a 60, 70-yard touchdown run.
What's the one quality that you remembered? You mentioned a few, and you also said you were pleasantly surprised. That made you sit up right away and say, this guy's a lot better than I thought.
No, it was the first play. The first play I turned on the film, I said, holy crap, who was the blur on the screen? It was just the veracity and acceleration to the line of scrimmage where I looked at that and said, whoa, I had maybe watched 4 or 5 other guys before him, so I got a good gauge of what the speed is you're looking at. And all of a sudden I turn his film on and I see the way he gets to the line of scrimmage, how quickly he gets to the second level when there is a hole there, or his ability to make things happen when nothing is there too. That's a big thing in evaluating. Right. You know, where I look at it and go, oh, there's no hole. He got 3 yards. Which
happens all the time.
Right. Oh, there's no hole. He bounced outside and got 20.
How's he catch? How's he block?
He catches really well. Blocking, top-notch. Catching, doesn't get a ton of it, but just from the catches I saw, it wasn't work. It was natural. I really thought with really all the guys in my top 5, I thought all of them have all the ability to catch the ball and be on the field in third down and be a reliable target in the pass game.
All right, no surprise now because we haven't heard his name. We've talked about Alabama.
That's right.
Josh Jacobs is your number 1 back. Yeah. The way you describe number 3 Henderson and 2 Armstead, you must like Jacobs a whole lot.
Yeah, this is the cream of the crop, and I don't give a damn about his pro day and that he ran 4.6.
Yeah,
no, you know, because hey, again, you know, you have to take a little bit. It's a balance as far as scouting or evaluating football players. I can just say this: the SEC is by far the best conference in college football. It's not really close. NFL defensive linemen, NFL linebackers, NFL safeties, DBs, games against Clemson, it doesn't matter. His movement, his explosion, his acceleration, it's elite. He kind of stands above the rest as far as the running back group. I do think that he's unquestionably a first-round talent. You know, whether he goes top 20 or somewhere between 20 and 30, I don't know. But this is what I would say. He's better than Sony Michel coming out last year. And he's got less than wear tear, right? Yeah. And Sony Michel went in the end of the first round to the New England Patriots. I would say this would be my best pro player comparison. He's an Alvin Kamara, except he's more explosive and has better power. I really think he could be used in that way in the NFL. But his ability to weave through traffic between the tackles, make people miss and break ankles in space, the ability to stop and then re-accelerate is on another level. He can go full speed through a hole, Paul, turn on the brakes, make a linebacker miss, and then get right back up to full speed in 2 steps again. And those are the things that are needed in the NFL to take you to the next level as an elite-type running back, and I think he's an elite-type talent.
Let's assign these names and these specifics we've been listening to the last few minutes to that question I asked you a little while ago.
Yeah.
Let's say you're picking in the 20s.
Right.
You want a running back. You know Josh Jacobs is the best back in this draft. You're surprised he's there in the mid-20s. Are you using your pick on him? Or are you looking at the rest of this list and going, you know what, let's go somewhere else and get one of these quality backs in the 3rd or 4th? I guess, is Jacobs good enough for a first-round pick?
No, he is. He is.
You would take him there.
And that's a very good question because you're right. You're going to have to, especially when I talk about how good the rest of the group is and there's talent. But, yes, I think he is talented enough and stands out from the rest of the group enough in a way to where he is worth it. I mean, the power is off the charts. You know, catching the football, ability to make people miss in space. You know, hey, maybe I'm not shocked that he ran 4.6. I thought he would have ran maybe a 4.5, a mid 4.5. What I would really want to know is what was his 10-yard split, things like that. He's going to be really impressive in a lot of 10 and 20 and 25-yard runs.
Because you mentioned how important the acceleration to the hole was in your film watching.
It's extremely important because it's just, you know, again, the NFL, everything gets so much tougher. You know, oh, I made a guy miss, and by the time you're shaking down the next guy to make another guy miss, the first guy's caught you from behind and makes the tackle. So you got to be able to make people miss and explode upfield in a hurry. And that's what I saw from him, I think, that really set him apart. He understands how to set up blockers, Paul. He's really good. Oh, the guard's pulling. Let me get on the outside edge of him, make the guy commit to the outside, and then set it up to where the guard can take him on. And now, bam, I cut inside and make a big play that way. I think all of those things, jump cuts. And people, if you want to know what I mean by jump cuts, okay, jump cuts are like
Don't blow a knee or an Achilles.
I won't, and I'm not going to actually jump, okay? Right. I mean, but either way, when I talk about a guy who can jump cut, he can be in the hole right here and go, oh, the hole is gone. There's nothing there. And basically just jump over to the next gap or the next hole and bam. I mean, it's like lightning. And that's where I think he is a special football player. Added to the fact, it's like a dream come true. They let Damian Harris just get abused, and he didn't have to run the ball that much to where you go, damn, we're getting like, for Alabama, we're getting a really fresh running back that hasn't had a lot of wear and tear on his tires.
Right. So you'd rather have Josh Jacobs in the 1st than Harris in the 5th?
I would. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I do. And hey, listen, there's going to be a lot of running backs down in that range that I will not be shocked at one day that we're sitting here talking about going, damn, he's a hell of a football player. But I think that Josh Jacobs has a different skill set that, you know, is unique even for the running back position. And I think it's a little bit better than the normal guy that's coming out.
Let's take a look at the lists, 1 through 5 or 5 through 1 there. And as we look at the names there, your top 5 backs as a group, you say this is better than what we've seen in the past?
I think so. Yeah, I do. I think it's maybe not as many superstars and names that we've heard about because it's schools like Temple and Memphis and Pitt where, yeah, they're not on college or national TV every week throughout the year. But, yeah, I mean, the one thing I think I just noticed from all these guys, how complete they are as players. That's where I was impressed with, too. You know, sometimes you watch a guy and go, oh, he's only good between the tackles, or he's only good when he's on the outside edge of the defense. Right. You know, these guys, pass protection, check. You know, catching the ball, check. All of them are pretty good route runners, check. Okay. You know, running with power, yeah, okay. Running and making people miss in space, got that. So I think there's, you know, them, you know, and then you talk about guys like Damian Harris, the other running back at Alabama. He's a fringe guy you would have thought about having in this conversation. You know, there's I'm blanking on some of the other guys that I want.
While you think of it, I'm going to mention the names for everybody listening on the podcast instead of watching on YouTube. Number 5, Ollison from Pittsburgh. 4, Sanders, Penn State. 3, Darrell Henderson from Memphis. 2, Armstead from Temple. And number 1, Josh Jacobs, Alabama.
Yes. Yep. And, hey, I mean, all impressive, I think so. I'm just trying to go through my brain. You know, hey, there's the guys, the Justice Hill. There's the kid down in Miami that I thought was extremely impressive. Travis Homer. Hey, Dexter Williams from Notre Dame. We've seen him make a lot of big runs. You know, so there is guys to find in the middle of this draft that can make a lot of big plays for any offense who decides to draft them. But I think the 2 guys, Josh Jacobs, I explained a lot about what makes me excited about him, and the man Raquel Armstead. I just think, you know, had it all. The quickness, it was just barely below the quickness of Jacobs or Henderson, who don't really have the same power running style that he has. Always falls forward. Armstead, I'm talking about, and I put value into that. You know, his bad runs are gains of 2, gains of 3. There is something to that, because if I'm an NFL evaluator, I want to go, okay, if we don't have a hole, I don't want to be stuck in 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 13. Can he make us make positive yards and keep us in good situations? And that's part of the evaluation process too.
I always feel like for the running backs too that it's the second most difficult position for rookies to make the adjustment to, because when it comes to the pass protection and the adjustments made at the line of scrimmage, obviously it's the quarterback who has to do that and make those calls. But the running back, I mean, he could be doing 10 different things, and within a couple seconds, he has to recognize that and do it. So in addition to everything else you talked about,
no doubt,
those guys have to be intelligent and quick learners too.
Yeah, they do. It's a different day and age in the NFL. And yeah, just think about it. Running back, you're sitting there in shotgun and you're going, okay, we're in 2-jet protection. Oh, okay, I got, the strong side linebacker in 2-jet. All of a sudden, the quarterback calls an audible or changes the protection. And all of a sudden, you're going, oh, gosh, wait. Okay, wait. Oh, I got this guy now. And, all of a sudden at the snap, now it's a free safety blitzing, and your rule changes again. You go, wait, coach told me to pick up any secondary blitzers. So you got to be smart.
And a lot of players aren't doing that in college now because of it's getting signaled in from the sideline.
It's the game has become elementary in college. I mean, you're right. I mean, there's only one pass protection that's being used a lot of the times. The rules are easy for the running backs in these scenarios a lot of times. And yes, they're not even having to process information coming out of the huddle. They're just, let's fake the snap. What did my running back coach on the sideline say I'm going to do here? Okay, I'm doing that, and then you just go do it. And yes, there's just more to the game mentally in the NFL aspect as compared to college.
All right, Chris, well done. Those are your running backs, 5 through 1. I understand now the guest of honor is ready.
Thy guest of honor. We've waited so long for him, and I can't wait to hear what's just absolutely spills out of his mouth. But yes, a Wednesday podcast tradition will be my dad, yes, the big Phil Simms. Here he is. Let's get after it.
What are you two whispering about?
Oh, we're whispering
Big
around
Phil.
you. All right.
We're whispering, what the hell? What do you think?
All right. Hey, back in the control room. You want me to bring him in, or you just want me to start with him whispering and making fun of me like that right there?
Yeah, let's make fun of you.
He just outed it.
I mean, come on. Hey, we don't start over. Hey, this is live. Come on.
Fine, it's live. Let's go. We're going.
I'm tired of
okay?
you. You do it to me all the time. You sit there and talk, and I go, when we going to start? Oh, we've been starting.
Look at this. Yeah, okay, this is perfect. You're right. Thank you for finally joining us. I mean, we've only been sitting here for...
What do you mean finally? Well, I have a life. You got to text me a time. I do things. I mean, I just broke the speed limit 50 times trying to get to my house because my son, are you ready? Are you ready? Well, why didn't you text me what time we were going to do this today? That would help.
Okay, all right. So just
Paul, you going to treat your children like this as as you get older?
Well, yes. Yes. Actually, you should have heard all the things I was saying about you while we were waiting here, and a few people commented that this is going to be your kids saying this about you one day. So that's very, real.
Listen. Whatever you say about me, what your kids say about you is going to be a lot worse. So I'm pretty confident in that.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right.
So we have this out of the way, too. You are a constant guest, a weekly guest on the Wednesday podcast. somewhere between 12 and 1:30, we would like you. Maybe earlier than that, okay?
Then could you narrow it down just a little? Because like I said, there's things I like to do.
Okay, all right. So
I mean, I was over. You just interrupted a session. I was throwing with 2 quarterbacks, and I was truly torturing them. It was great, and I was having a good time, and it was awesome. So I had to run from them and said, okay, I'll get back to you 2 guys later.
All right. Well, are they going in the NFL draft in a few weeks, these 2 you were working with?
No, but one of them will one day in a few years. That's
all right.
For sure.
Well, screw them then. They got plenty of time to develop.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
All right.
So go ahead. What we got going on? Paul, how are you doing, by the way?
I'm good, Phil. Thank you.
Good.
Are you, besides annoyed with your son and very busy today, everything else good?
Everything is good. I just hope that you treat your father in the right way with respect. Listen, I treated my father with respect and made sure, because if I didn't, I knew what was coming. He was going to whip my ass. That's what he's going to do.
Times have changed. Times have changed. Can't get away with that anymore.
All right. So, hey, let's be totally transparent. I was texting with Dad earlier today. We never know where these interviews are going to go with Dad. Dad's going to start talking about what he wants to talk about.
We like that, though.
And we do like that. Yeah. We welcome it. All right. So I know the first topic you wanted to hit on a little bit was the wide receiver moves that have gone on the past 2 weeks in the NFL. Antonio Brown, OBJ. I have no idea where you're going with this, but the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know where I'm going either. I just heard you this morning. See, I do listen to you and Mike Florio. Mike more than you, but but y'all were talking about Odell Beckham Jr. and some of those things. I said, his reaction to the trade, it happened quick. He was surprised, and here's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah,
that if he stays in New York and they have success, they would build statues of Odell Beckham Jr. outside Giant Stadium. He would forever, everywhere he would go in the world, he would be, recognizable, which he is now, of course, and it would just put him in a different world.
Yes.
And I think, that I kind of just reading everything and all that, there was like a little almost depression, not depression, but, wow, the Giants traded me.
Right.
They didn't want me.
Right. And I used that on you. You and I had that conversation. I used that on the show today because I said, and this was your point you made, this is probably the first time in his life somebody didn't want him.
Yes. So that is hurtful, It's just like, I'm so well, I won't get into whatever. I can get a date with anybody, and all of a sudden you can't get a date, and you go, what's wrong here? There's something wrong with me. But it's not only that. It's just, I know Cleveland's great. They got it turned around and everything. But if he's a star in Cleveland, it will not be the same if he's a star in New York.
Right.
I hate to say that because I know I'm an ex-Giant and I live up here, but those are just the facts.
That's true.
Just to give you, as I tell, every once in a while I talk to some Giant players, I say, look, if you hang here and it works, you'll be so thankful because, you're an ex-athlete. I will say this. I took my wife to Paris. We went over there once. I said, this is going to be cool. I'm over in Paris. Nobody's going to know me. And we can just I walk out of the hotel and somebody goes, hey, Phil, the Giants. And I just went, oh, my God. I started laughing. Everywhere we went, there were Giant fans in Paris.
Well, to your point, Dad, just to cut you off real quick, it is very real. I played my first preseason game in Tokyo, right, as with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We go over there. Warren Sapp was the biggest deal they'd ever seen. It was like, oh, my gosh, this is Godzilla walking around. They loved him. Oddly enough, the second most popular guy there was me. And it wasn't because of me. It had nothing to do with me, but more because it was Tokyo and they knew New York and they knew who Phil Simms was and I was Phil Simms' son, and that was cool. They had me signing Phil Simms stuff. So Dad's point, yes, when you're in the city of New York, you do become, I guess, you have the chance to become more of an icon.
Yeah, and and I think he's into that. There's no doubt. I mean, there's many careers he's going to try to look to go into as his life goes on. I don't know what it is. I don't follow that. I mean, I follow him, but I know it's fashion, it's this, whatever.
Right,
he's going to, he's a creative guy. So I just thought about that, and I said, I just hope, well, for his sake, that it doesn't get to a point where it affects his play. I don't think it will. And they brought up the same thing to Antonio Brown. Oh, he's with the Raiders. Everybody, Raiders. The Raiders haven't been relevant in so long. It's incredible. The Steelers. CBS, we can't wait to have the Steelers on because we know the audience is going to be huge. And they put their players on a pedestal like no other city maybe in the country. Green Bay, of course, New England now, whatever. But just that, it's not going to be the same atmosphere. You can say what you want. I've been in the Coliseum in Oakland, and yes, it's unique, but it's not running out on the Heinz Field in front of the Steeler fans. It's not the same.
Right.
And the vibe won't be the same. The field's not the same, and it's just going to be different. The Steelers are always part of the NFL culture. Antonio Brown was in a great offense with a really good offensive line. Things are proven, and I've heard you say it 100 times. Paul, we know. And there's a quarterback, no matter what. When you got just a half of a ball length, Ben says, well, it's wide open. I think I'll throw it. And he makes the throws, and he makes receivers stars. And I think that's going to be a big adjustment for Antonio Brown. So those were two things right off the top. I was listening going, yeah, I just wonder if these guys are going to regret this as it goes along.
Right.
That they really left great situations for many reasons, and we'll see if they work out where they went.
Right.
Could be classic situation of don't know what you got
until it's gone.
Yeah. And we'll find out.
My other one was, Paul?
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen to me. Now listen, Paul. This is one father talking to another. And I know your oldest son's probably going to be a college quarterback and everything. And I heard my son talking about it today. They showed the clip of him committing to Tennessee, then decommitting and committing to somewhere else, and then finally said, I got to go to Texas. I don't know how many places we went, whatever. and I've had many parents come up to me and they say to me, my son's going to college. I said, listen to me. I said, I just have this advice for you. He's, 17 or 18? What does he know? He doesn't know nothing. He knows nothing.
Right.
Almost said a curse word. So you make the decision and just live with it, okay? You're a parent. Who knows more than you? And here I am letting my 18-year-old son make a decision.
What were you doing?
I know everything about the damn business, the jobs, and this. But no, okay, I'll let you go where you want. Oh, come on.
So this reminds me, Phil, it must have been, 2005-ish. I was working for NFL Network out of NFL Films. Phil came in to do something, I think, for America's Game, one of the Super Bowls they won. And we were talking about your oldest son, Matt, and where he was going to go to school.
I'm his oldest son. Matt's the youngest son.
Matt's the youngest son. Okay. Talking about your youngest son, Matt, because Chris had already gone the route that you just described. And you said, in a very firm way, you said, you know what? I let Christopher go where he wanted to go. With Matt, it's going to be a dad decision. Dad's deciding about this one. I'm not letting him decide this time.
Well, Paul, I screwed that one up too, but it wasn't my fault. He went to the University of Louisville, Bobby Petrino. I said, oh, my gosh, it just couldn't be better.
Right.
I mean, he could have thrown it left-handed and thrown for 4,000. But, of course, he commits to him. What do you think? Bobby Petrino leaves. So that doesn't work out. He goes to junior college, does well. Now he's going to pick another school. Lane Kiffin at the University of Tennessee loves my son. He's going to be the man.
Right. Monty Kiffin's calling me because I was with Monty in Tampa. I mean, this was awesome. Oh, perfect match. Sorry, Dad. Go ahead.
No, you're right. It's perfect. Yeah. It's going to work, and he's going to get what he wants. And he's there, and it's a Monday he goes down or a Sunday. And then on Wednesday he calls me, hey, Dad, you won't believe it. And I said, oh, no, because I was afraid. He goes, Lane Kiffin just brought me into his office and said he's going to USC.
Yeah.
I just went, and we just actually laughed. I just go, man, I don't know what to say. It is, do you want to leave? Because then he still could have left and gone to another school, but the process was so far along. So even though I tried,
you still can't be prepared for everything that could happen.
Two coaches stuck it to me. There we go. That's the way to say it. So.
Hey, Phil, as long as we're talking college quarterbacks, I understand since the last time we've talked, you've watched 2 or 3 of these guys coming out for the draft. Yeah. I'm wondering who you liked and maybe who didn't you like?
Well, let me ask you guys a question real quick, and you can give me the answers. Okay, sell me on Daniel Jones. Okay, tell me, why is he going to be what excites you? Give me the one thing or 2 things that's going to make it really work big time in the NFL.
You want me to answer that, or you want?
Yeah,
to
go ahead. I
this
want both of you to
conversation.
answer it.
Yeah, Well, I mean, I know what you're going to say here, and you're exactly right. The first thing I only want to talk about with Daniel Jones is he's been in the offense with David Cutcliffe.
Yeah, we need something beyond that.
But there's nothing physically to attach yourself to go, oh, this is special, and it's going to translate to the NFL. And when nobody's open, oh, he'll make this type of play. I don't see that, and I think that's where you're probably going to go with this. I don't even know.
I see a lot of good, but not great, kind of waiting for the great, and just, I mean, not wowed. You don't watch it and say, boy, first-round quarterback. I don't watch it and hate it. I just don't think first-round quarterback. What do you think when you saw him?
Me neither. I do see him every once in a while rear back and throw the ball. Go, wow, I wish I saw more of that. He has great size. That's good stuff for the NFL. But there's the rest of it is, you know what I see? I see a guy that gets in the league, and he gets in and he practices. I'm sure he's smart and all this stuff. He's been taught well. And through time, he develops into a starting quarterback. And it's almost kind of, even though I think Nick Foles was more talented, as Nick Foles stayed in the league, got a chance to play 1 year under Chip Kelly, put up great numbers, then went out and, got his career destroyed in St. Louis. But you see he's seasoned. You see the talent. He's a tremendous athlete. I mean, not maybe super fast, but he moves, can throw with people, has great rhythm throwing the football.
Right.
Not an overpowering arm, but you see a starting NFL quarterback. So that's the way I look at Daniel Jones, and I would look at Ryan Finley the same way. Maybe not even as high as I would Daniel Jones, because every once in a while Daniel Jones will make a throw. I go, that was a throw, an NFL throw that I'd like to see. Ryan Finley from North Carolina State, I like him. He looks the part. Oh, my gosh. I mean, he's the best-looking guy in the uniform coming out in the draft. But, again, never makes – and everybody else says arm strength is overrated. And I just say to all of them once again, you're wrong.
Right.
It's not overrated because there's always in every game, 3, 4, 5 throws?
Yeah.
Where arm strength is a difference, and it's something you can't measure. You people out there,
right? Or forget about the 3 or 4.
Let me give you an example.
Well, forget about the 3 or 4 throws you're talking about too. The plays that are designed are going to be more aggressive and more creative, and maybe more type of plays that can rip off chunks of yards with the quarterback who has the bigger arm. People forget that aspect as well.
That's right. And I talk, and here's the other one. You're just running a route across the middle. Just think about this. Again, you can't measure this. The quicker the ball gets to him, that extra one little beat, that half a step is the difference between catching and getting tackled and catching it and running for 20 or 30 more yards.
Yeah.
Even on a quick throw to the outside, if you get it out of your hand and you smoke it out there to the receiver, which they want, and I ask many receivers.
Yes, we all
I
do.
ask Brandon Marshall all the time on Showtime. Brandon, when you run a little quick route, do you want that ball just ripped and thrown? He goes, oh, man, you can't get it to me fast or hard enough because I want it in my hands and get that extra little bit of time to see, react, and go from there. And I said, yeah, there you go, because I was in an argument with somebody. Yeah, you said it right, Christopher, is when they don't have the strong arm or the arm that makes the special throws, they don't design anything special.
Right.
And so that's just kind of my take on those two. I will tell you both this, and my son, we talked about this, is Paul, is it Clayton Thorson played at Northwestern this year, and, I know him a little, so I'm a little prejudiced, and watched him throw in person once, really impressive, big guy. I mean, he's got quarterback all over him. He's just a leader of men. You can see that right away, all that stuff. But I went back last night because I knew I might talk to y'all if y'all were going to tell me what time we were going to do this today. And I watched his junior tapes.
Yes.
Have you watched his junior tapes, Christopher?
Yeah.
Before he got hurt.
They're a lot better than what we saw last year in his senior year.
Oh, I saw enough to go, okay.
Right.
We're watching a guy, I forgot what year it was. I was watching some highlights. It was against Nebraska. and he just takes off and runs and just, I don't know, I'm going to say 60, 70, 80 yards.
Right.
And I go, so that kind of woke me up. You could see without the knee injury how much more physical he was, quicker he was, moving, his arm, everything. So that kind of intrigued me.
Right.
And just now, if I had to say right now, I would probably put him over if he was really physically, if I had the doctors. Now, it might change as I watch a little more, but now I would put him over the other two that we have talked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Last week, Phil, when we talked about the Giants specifically taking somebody at 6 or 17, and I thought you made a very good case for why they should go elsewhere besides quarterback at 6 and 17 and try and locate somebody in the later rounds instead of taking the risk that high. So if the Giants pass on QBs in round 1, they get to rounds 2 and 3, of the guys you've watched so far, is Clayton Thorson the one you'd say, you know what, I hope they end up with him in round 2 or 3?
Yeah, Paul, it's not that I said I would do that if I was the Giants. I just kind of think that's what they'll do. They still could take Dwayne Haskins at number 6 or 17. He won't be there at 17, I doubt. I don't know. You guys are really more in tune to the talk than I am right now. Do you hear anybody talking about Dwayne Haskins that they're hoping he falls? But that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
People can shut their mouths and not work people out because they don't want their name out there.
Right.
But
I feel like I meant to the point at the start of the show, Dad, that I do feel like the buzz around Dwayne Haskins has died down, and it's not because of the latter thing you said, where it's, oh, he's so good, let's try to not say anything about him, so maybe he'll fall to us. I feel like since the Combine, where I know you and I both were not necessarily thrilled with the way he looked and his workout in general, I feel like buzz has died out, and I don't think it's actually, that crazy to where, you also saw Jacksonville sign a quarterback right after that. Maybe that was what made them decide to go, okay, I saw enough, I met him, I don't know, we're going to go in a different direction. I don't know any of these things, but certainly food for thought and things that I've been just juggling around in my brain.
Yeah, I think, look, if I had to go one way or the other, I think you're right, no question, that it is real, that the hype has died down, and some, people are not quite as excited about him as they were. And, I think a lot of teams, I wonder about all of them. In other words, Kyler Murray, we know he's going to go in the first round. Haskins is going to go in the first round. I would think Drew Lock would. It just wouldn't surprise me that teams like, let's just say Jacksonville, I think they'll draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
But they're looking to steal one, which I think you can, maybe second, third round in that area, maybe even the third, because there's just, as I go over the list, as I said to y'all last week, there's just so many good players. And if the need at quarterback is not overwhelming, if you're not looking, I need a guy in a year or two, or whatever, then it's going to be too hard to pass up all these good players. And, especially defensively, but even the other spots. I mean, man, I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe I'm getting old and I just think they're better than they are. But it's just these guys, I hate the old phrase, but they seem to be more pro-ready right now than I ever remember, even back to last year. Just all the players in general. It's pretty amazing just to see the defensive. My gosh.
Think about how many more reps just throwing a football against the defense, Phil, these quarterbacks have now than that Chris had or I had or somebody had 10 years ago. The 7-on-7 camps all summer long. These high school seniors come and take part in spring football, start their freshman year early. I mean, they're just throwing more balls and seeing defenses more than any of us ever did.
No doubt.
Well, yeah, and it's real. It's real for quarterbacks, but it's real for everybody, receivers, defensive backs. I mean, defensive tackles, linemen, everybody, they're training. And, look, I kid you not, I throw with kids in the 8th grade. When I got done with spring football in college, I literally did not throw a ball some off seasons until I went to training camp. Maybe a day or two before I go to one of my brothers, hey, come on in the backyard, let me throw you a couple.
Right.
Because I'd be working and playing baseball all summer. And never, even as a pro, I threw very, very little during the off season. We just ran and lifted. That's all we did. So, but these guys, I'm amazed that as I And I tell Paul, I tell Christopher all the time, I say, I worked out with this quarterback, and I just go, he's in college, you should see him. I mean, if he can't be a pro, then I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Right. What are we going to?
Right.
But there's just so many. I throw with 8th graders that drop back and move around and throw perfect spirals all the time with power in the 8th grade. I'm going, what is he going to be in 4 years? And I know what he's going to be. He's going to be really good going to a major college.
Yeah.
So,
no doubt. All right, we're done. We're getting long here. We got to wrap this podcast up.
I can hear the little tension. People saying, "Come on, wrap it up." And if you had any power, you tell them, "Shut up. I'll get done when we're done, and we'll finish what we got to talk about."
Yeah, I know. The problem is I blabbered in a lot of other segments, so it goes back to me. It's my fault.
You blabbered?
Me? Yes.
I am shocked, son. Hey, Paul.
Yes.
Listen. Yeah. I always have a thing. I'd work with some people. I'd like to do it to Boomer. When he talks too much, slap him in the back of the head. But to slap Boomer in the back of the head, you got to hit him 5 times because his head's so big. So you guys have a great day.
All right, Dad. You the man. Thanks as always.
See you, Phil.
See ya. Bye. There it is. Bam. I told you, there's no controlling him. He's like a loose bull that we let out in the ring. It's just, he can't wait.
And when you have somebody where they can't see you and you can't see them, it's even more difficult because if you're talking and I feel like you're going along, I can kind of give you, give you a little bit, some nonverbals like I'm ready to talk to. When someone is on the phone, it's just not possible.
Yeah, no, that was good stuff by Dad. I do think Clayton Thorson did.
I wanted to ask you what you thought about that.
I think that's the big thing. You have to go back to 2 years ago and really evaluate him there.
Because he tore his ACL at the end of his junior year.
And
I saw him his senior year, and he was fine.
Yes.
He wasn't
fine. No, he was not totally fine.
And I'm getting the feeling that his whole senior year was kind of that way.
It was. Not till the end of the year did you start to see, okay, this is a little glimmer of what this guy was beforehand. Yeah. It was a stretch for him to get ready for the 2018 season. So, yeah, I think, to Dad's point, listen, he's a little lower than I am on Ryan Finley. I like Ryan Finley a little more than my father, but I think Thorson, when I do my re-rankings, he's the kind of guy that, I think could probably climb a few spots. Because when I went around the first time, I can't look at everything and just totally deep dive. I went more off of what I saw from last year. Mm-hmm. So as I've gone back and gone down the list of other guys and seen more and more, I might have to reevaluate.
Where'd you have him before?
I think I had him at 7 out of the 8 that we kind of ranked.
So it sounds like he'll come in the top 5 somewhere.
Right, yeah, he could come somewhere in that range. But I understand what Dad's saying, and when you really do look for his tape from 2 years ago, there's a lot of pro attributes or DNA traits that you look at and you go, ooh, that's pretty damn good. I don't know if it's superstar potential, but I think it's good nonetheless to where he's a really quality backup or he develops into a starter at some point.
Worth a 2nd or 3rd round pick?
Yeah, it could be. It's in that range. Yes, I think that he could be some guy that surprises people and goes in the 2nd round. I do. I think Clayton Thorson is that type of talent. Yes. Yep. All right. So we're going to go right to the end here. That's it, right? We're done. That's it. I'm wrapping this up. I'm a host, and I'm not that good at it. I'm trying to talk and figure this out as we go, okay? So I hope you enjoyed Chris Simms Unbuttoned, okay? Paulie, you the man.
Good to see you, as always.
Ben Beermeister out there, okay?
2 now.
2 now.
Yeah.
But always good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Check us out. Hey, you know where to find this. YouTube.com/NBC Sports, okay? Get at me on Instagram at Simms Unbuttoned. I keep wanting to do that. And then at CSimmsQB on Twitter. But hope you learned something today with football. Again, podcast, we will be taping Thursday. There'll be something out again on Friday morning. Peace out, homies. See ya Friday morning. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Simms Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.